It's now civil rights attorney and former prosecutor Charles Coleman. Charles, it's great to see you this morning. So Kristen Gibbons-Fedden, who we just saw there in the piece, the prosecutor on the Cosby case, was with us in our last hour, and she said not only is this alleged oral agreement from 2005 not grounds for the Supreme Court to overturn the conviction, she doesn't have any evidence that it ever happened because it was an oral agreement. What is your take on what we saw yesterday?
Well, Willie, I think the first thing that people need to understand is that this is not a commentary on Cosby's guilt or innocence. Bill Cosby was not exonerated. This is a function of what happens when you have political motivations mixed with the criminal justice system. So Cosby and his attorneys make a deal with a former prosecutor that if they cooperate and participate in the deposition of a civil trial, that they will not have to be prosecuted in criminal court. And so when you have these sorts of informal agreements around immunity that are made between prosecutors and potential witnesses or defendants, the question becomes, are future prosecutors liable or responsible for upholding them in the future after those prosecutors who have made those deals are gone and have left office? And the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania ultimately ruled, yes, they are. And part of what happened here is that a lot of the reasoning was the information and the evidence that was used to convict Bill Cosby at trial would not have been available but for his participation and voluntary testimony at that deposition. And so when the Supreme Court decided to throw that out, what it basically said was you would not have had the case that you had in addition to additional witnesses which they deemed unnecessary and highly prejudicial against Mr. Cosby being able to testify at trial.
So we have a handshake deal effectively here, Charles, that the Supreme Court used to overturn the conviction. How unusual are those in your experience? And wouldn't they be memorialized somehow? Would there be a signature on a document that the Supreme Court could say, well, here's why we're doing it, rather than just saying we understand that there was a handshake deal, and based upon that, we're setting him free?
Well, as a former prosecutor, I can tell you that these sorts of informal agreements don't happen to the degree that we're seeing in the Cosby case. I will say that the one thing that I think his attorneys held their hats on in the Court of Appeals was essentially that there was a memo from the former prosecutor to the current Montgomery prosecutor and following successors, basically outlining the contours of the deal and saying that this happened and this was official. And that memo, although it was secret and private, was something that was presented and included in the evidence as part of their appeal. But to answer your question, it is unusual that you would have sort of this backroom conversation that wasn't memorialized in any way formally between the actual parties in a way that would have allowed them to present this earlier.
So, Charles, is this the end of the story? I mean, it's gone up to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. They've said he can walk a free man. We saw him yesterday. We also heard from many of the victims who were devastated by those images of Bill Cosby walking free. Is he free for the rest of his life?
As it relates to these charges, Willie, he is. And this is an unfortunate and tragic end to the story because on one hand, like I said, you had the political motivations of a prosecutor in Montgomery County who essentially ran on a platform of getting Bill Cosby and making sure that he was brought to justice. And then caught in the middle of this entire saga are the unfortunate stories of these sexual assault victims who all they wanted was their day in court and justice. And rightfully so, many of them feel denied by that at this point with the turn of events that we've seen.
And you can understand why. Charles Coleman, great to have your insights on this story this morning. Thanks so much for being with us.